In the last two sections, we have looked at adding and subtracting like fractions, and then adding and subtracting unlike fractions. And now we're looking at adding and subtracting mixed numbers. We have a couple different routes that we can take. A lot of it depends on preference, or it depends on, as well as preference, what the multiplication involves. If it's more complicated, we might want to go with one method over the other. So the first method, in example 1, we're given to add 8 and 5/12 plus 11 and 1/4. So the first method we'll look at is we can change these to mixed numbers and then add them by converting to like fractions. I said mixed numbers, I meant improper fractions, and then convert them to like improper fractions by putting them over the same denominator. So to do that, first we multiply 12 times 8, that's 96, plus 5 is 101. So this is an instance where we might want to use the other method, which we'll look at here in a second, just because that multiplication is a little bit more complicated. You might have to write out to the side 12 times 8, 2 times 8 is 16, 6 down carry your 1, 1 times 8 is 8, plus 1 is 9, in order to get that 96, and then add the 5 to get 101. And then that's plus 4 times 11 is 44, plus 1 is 45 fourths. And now we're looking at two improper fractions that are unlike fractions, and we want to know what's the least common multiple of 4 and 12, so we can get a least common denominator. 12 is a multiple of 4, thankfully. So how do we make this 4 a 12? We multiply the 4 by 3 in order to get 12. And so we have to multiply the numerator, the top, by 3 as well. And so that gives us 101 twelfths plus 45 times 3 is going to be 135. And then 4 times 3 is 12, and then we have two like improper fractions. Both of them have a denominator of 12, so that becomes 101 plus 135 divided by 12, which equals 236 divided by 12. And now we're looking at what is, if any, common multiple. The greatest common factor, factor. What is the common factor, greatest common factor of 236 and 12? So with 236 and 12, we know 12 is divisible by 4 is 236 divisible by 4. If we put that in, we do get a multiple of 4. So we'll go ahead and divide 236 by 4. 4 times 5 is 20. And then 4 times 9 is 36. So if we divide both 236 and 12 by 4, we get 59 thirds. And then last but not least, we have to divide 59 by 3 in order to get our final solution. So 3 will go into 5 one time. 2, bring down your 9. 3 will go into 29 9 times. 3 times 9 is 27. That gives us a remainder of 2, so that means our final solution, we put the remainder over what we're dividing by for our fraction portion, so that gives us 19 and 2 thirds. And again, this is in this method, we're changing the mixed numbers to improper fractions, then putting them over a common denominator, then adding, or if we were subtracting the like fractions. In this case, we're adding the like fractions, and then we're simplifying. Now, the second method in this case might be a little bit easier. We separate it, especially when it's addition, we can always separate it easily because we'll never have to borrow from one of the whole number parts of the mixed number. But with the second part, we'll go ahead and rewrite the problem. 8 and 5 twelfths plus 11 and 1/4. So now we're just going to separate that into the whole number parts and the fraction parts. So this would be 8 plus 11 plus 5 twelfths plus 1/4. 8 plus 11 is 19, and that's plus, now what's the least common denominator of 5 twelfths and 1/4? we're looking at the least common multiple of 12 and 4 is just 12. So 5/12 plus 1/4 times, how do we make that 4 a 12? We multiply it by, again, 3/3. And that gives us 19 plus 5/12 plus 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Now we can add those because they're like fractions, which equals 19 plus 8/12, which equals 19 and 8/12. We can reduce that 8/12, or we can simplify that 8/12. Both 8 and 12 are divisible by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So as you can see, it's a little bit less intense in this case to separate the whole number parts and the fraction parts, and that's mainly because it's addition and the multiplication involved in changing these to improper fractions. The numbers get a little large.